Bill Ackman prefers ICE over DEI. Right? That's an acronym he likes. He likes ICE.
You know, he's not anti-acronym, just the one acronym.
Just DEI. It's a Business Pants Friday show here at January 23rd. Studios featuring analyst Matt Moscardi. On today's weekly wrap-up, CEOs learn to talk.
Did they?
Jamie keeps talking, and Chip has a chip on his shoulder. You're going to have to stay tuned to understand what any of this means.
You know how to sell a show. That's true.
What I'm trying to say is listen to the end. Our show today is being sponsored by FreeFlow Analytics and FreeFlowAnalytics.com, I believe. The only platform measuring board power, connections, and performance for free. We got to get back to, there's so much, I don't want to say horrendousness. There's so much kerfuffle.
Uncertainty? Do you want to use
so much
CEO terms?
Horrible uncertainty going on in the world that we don't do a lot of traditional, stories about directors and CEOs, and then we look at our data and we talk about what that could mean. And
it's really hard to do that anymore.
It's hard to do that anymore, isn't it?
But let me ask you something. Should we do an entire show like we work for one of the 7 big, data companies? Should we pretend like we're back at the mothership, or pretend like we're at S&P, or
nerdy show,
and do a show where we say things like, in a world full of uncertainty, or
you mean have nothing to say?
Do we need to start saying
not
that?
react? I don't. Well, that's isn't that what the proxy countdown is sort of for?
I don't think we are even capable in that show of doing that.
No,
I
it's
think
mostly.
Because
I dominate the first 20 minutes with mostly just data that I've gotten from SEC filings. I don't.
There's a tremendous amount of data, and yet somehow we are still giggling at the absurd stuff in an 8K,
that's just us.
Right? That's our insipid personality. All right, let's do this before I lose my mind. Let's do it.
Let's see how you unravel these stories of the week. I don't think you're gonna like how I've done this.
Well, I'm shocked.
I'm starting with the idea that our CEOs finding their blowhard whistles again. I don't know what's changed. I don't know if it's so the whole Epstein thing, which is still kind of the central idea of why a lot of people think that Trump is losing his mind. I mean he was already losing his mind, but it's getting worse.
Not that he's 900 years old.
That thing dropped. When did that thing get really ugly? December? Is that when they first kind of refused?
No. That's when they were supposed to release the files, and they released 7 files with all black marker all over them.
And then Renee Good was murdered by Bill Ackman's friend, Jonathan Ross. When did that happen?
That happened this month, didn't it?
And then there's just been a bunch of horrible economic news, and prices keep going up. I don't know. I don't know.
No,
here's my point.
It was Venezuela at the New Year.
That's true. Maybe that was
then
Greenland.
Good. Then Greenland.
So there's been
3
some
weeks of
cauldron of nonsense that has somehow awakened a few CEOs to actually say something that in a certain context could be anti-Trump, and let me demonstrate that. So I don't know why or how, but let me demonstrate. Let's start with our favorite, Jamie Dimon. Now, Jamie Dimon has been known over the years. He will go on both sides of the political aisle. He will, because he at one point I think he thought of himself as a front runner to be president, right? So he has weighed in this area before. He's not afraid. He even said that he doesn't have a boss, so he can do what he wants, basically, right?
Yeah, he doesn't. All right.
But I'm going to start with his comments just because we love Jamie. So the article from Fortune, Jamie Dimon is done being binary.
Ooh.
So here's what he had to say just over this last week. Jamie Dimon issues rare CEO criticism of Trump's immigration policy. I don't like what I'm seeing, he said, which, I can't imagine. How could any CEO like what they're seeing? Of course.
Isn't that binary? Isn't that I do like or I don't like?
I don't really understand the
still
Fortune article, yeah.
Yeah.
JP Morgan CEO Jamie Dimon said Trump's proposed 10% cap on credit card rates would be an economic disaster. Jamie Dimon issues rare CEO criticism. I already got that one. And then, so Trump is Jamie's saying stuff. Okay, of course.
I'm shocked.
Of course, like Trump is already suing J.P. Morgan for $5 billion over this so-called debanking scandal. But
yeah, they'll lose that lawsuit.
So let's get some others. Nestle CEO Philippe Navratil blames Trump for company going quiet on sustainability. Amazon CEO Jassy says Trump's tariffs have started to creep into prices. Now, this is a rare one. CEOs are even too afraid to blame the pricing surges on the tariffs, but they're starting to. Ryanair CEO again. He's always talking. This is Michael O'Leary. In fact, I'm not really covering it this week. He's having a big fight with Elon Musk, but here's the headline: Ryanair CEO rips Trump as a liar who is historically wrong. It's pretty strong words, though, right? I mean, and then. Of course, the backdrop to all this is this story from the Wall Street Journal. Minneapolis ICE standoff has become the political issue that CEOs cannot ignore, but they are ignoring it.
But they are. No one said anything.
So I guess, is that an opinion piece? So let me just catch you up to date what's going on still with Target. There's another article at a Fast Company. Employees in Minnesota are afraid to show up to work, yet still... Target is nothing. In fact, they even have a press release saying, Target in your town, how we're showing up in communities from coast to coast. So imagine that they put out that bullshit about how they're doing all this stuff for the local community, but yet they're ignoring the ICE story in Minneapolis. They have a statements page in their press release section. The last statement Target made was from July. Target statement on Texas floods. That's the last statement they've had. Texas floods.
That actually thoughts and prayers. They didn't mention climate change. That was just thoughts and prayers, right?
I think you might have even predicted this. That one of the ways a lot of these companies have been watering down the influence of women on their boards is just by hiring more men. And Target very quietly added 2 male directors.
2 white men.
Yes, 2 white women this week from the most boring of sources. A guy from Nike, John Hoke, and a guy from Hanes Brands, Steve Bratspies. So I mean Target. I mean Hanes underwear. This is. I mean, this is how you're getting into the future.
They have to dilute the pool because otherwise they look like one of the most diverse pools of a board in the country. But
I don't want to focus on Target here though. I threw that at the end saying that. People seem to be ready for CEOs to talk again, but Target's still not talking. So that's my first story, that there are some CEOs, they're starting to mouth off against Trump. Am I seeing something?
I don't think so.
You don't buy it?
I mean, look, here is what, for instance, the Wall Street Journal article that you're talking about where it's a political issue CEOs can't ignore for ICE. This is the way they're not ignoring it. Target circulated updated guidelines for how staff in stores and warehouses should respond to unannounced immigration-related contacts. So they responded with guidance. Hilton responded by saying it was a safety and security issue. And they said it was complicated, more complicated than normal.
Oh, stop.
This is how they're responding? Yeah. They're responding to an American Gestapo company, going into
a worldwide company in the travel sector that has to, has
not to mention
hotels.
These are your employees that they're arresting that are here. Yeah. There's no proof that they're here illegally. Do we think Hilton is out there hiring thousands of undocumented immigrants in Hiltons everywhere?
But Hilton
are pretty low.
But Hilton has hotels in countries that have had wars and other kinds of disturbances. So I mean, they're supposed to be able to handle complicated issues. Just saying it's complicated is not enough, Hilton.
This is complicated.
Anyway, so you're not buying that.
I'm not buying that at all.
Well, look, I'm seeing something. I mean, from everything you see, polls are trending that people are getting a little bit more tired of Trump. I don't know. I'm hoping. I'm hoping that I don't know what's going on. I really don't. But the optics against Trump seem to get worse and worse. My question is this: before we move on, would it matter if the CEOs, if they started to talk out against Trump, would it have an effect on the American population?
No.
Okay. Okay. I mean, there would have
Well,
to be an actual they would have to Target itself would actually have to close its stores, I guess, for there to be an effect, right?
The effect would have to be something more dramatic than Brian Cornell says.
Saying something, yeah.
Yeah, I don't see how this
All right, so let's move on. The second story of the week, again, kind of in the same territory, and maybe this is the fault of Davos, but I'm starting to see some things that I could consider some wins, some stakeholdery wins. We have a category here that we tag our articles called stakeholder rules. And we kind of came up with that based on the 2019 purpose of a corporation from the Business Roundtable, that in 2019, the Business Roundtable of all people decided, maybe stock price is not king after all. Maybe we need to pay attention to other things. Of course, it's like we're 10,000 years away from that proclamation. But here are the stakeholder wins I saw last week. And again, all the headlines we cover on the show are just in the last week. I don't dig far back to make a point. The first one is amazing. Trump administration drops appeal over anti-DEI funding threat to schools and colleges. That's a big win. Of course, I'm seeing a lot of wins like this, but it's taking lawsuits to get those wins. But hey, I applaud it. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, if in that there's so much nuance. They basically said there's 100 other ways that they're more likely. I think they've moved to a different path of the removing funding that is harder to sue and updating guidelines.
They're finding different ways to fight colleges.
They're finding different ways to basically just shut it all down anyway, even if they.
How about this one? I'm surprised about this one. I don't even know why they're admitting this. Trump administration concedes that the Doge team may have misused Social Security data. Why are they even telling us this?
Isn't that throwing some shade at Elon Musk? Now we're all going to pay attention to Elon instead of Trump being a crazy old doddering old man.
Brett Kavanaugh says letting Trump fire Lisa Cook, she's one of the she's on the Federal Reserve Board, would weaken, if not shatter, the independence of the Federal Reserve. That seems like a minor victory there.
Didn't they already shatter the Federal Reserve independence? What are we doing?
Amazon joins Microsoft in pledge to self-fund power grids, while CEO Andy Jassy questions OpenAI's ambitious spending. I mean, wow. So a Fortune 500 CEO is questioning the lunacy at OpenAI.
Okay.
That's something. No?
I think we're really stretching for some stakeholder wins.
Okay, but I'm just saying, Sam Altman should have been fired.
Yes, that is correct.
Was fired.
Now is a billionaire many times over.
This is the thing that we have been leaning on forever, that we agreed with that firing, and it should have happened. Andy Jassy, I don't know. He's opening a door of saying something. I'm just saying there's whispers, and then let's get to all the real pro-stakeholder purpose of a corporation stuff. Jamie Dimon tells Davos, you didn't do a particularly good job making the world a better place. Jamie Dimon says, government should have power to intervene in AI-driven mass layoffs. That's a big one. He also said that rollout of AI may need to be slowed to save society. I mean, what do they drink? I mean, what kind of weed are they smoking? Salesforce Benioff calls for AI regulation, says models have become suicide coaches. That's pretty strong. BlackRock's billionaire CEO Larry Fink warns AI could be capitalism's next big failure after 30 years of unsustainable inequality.
Yeah, we'll come back to these.
He also said capitalism is not spreading the wealth, and AI might not either. So I don't know what's going on, but all of this is like Mamdani. Is he worming into the brains of the elite? What's happening here?
There's
what's happening?
A 100% chance that none of this matters. None of this is real, and not.
It's all not real. When they get to Davos.
This is what they do.
They get a little bit of a conscious And
Once
maybe
a
they
year,
think like, boy, we better like give $1 back, or they're gonna come. That poor guy's gonna come and kill me.
once a year, people fly, billionaires and millionaires fly from all over the world to sit in rooms together
Why there?
and
Why
talk
there do they
about
feel that
how
way?
they have all the money,
They
and
feel
should we be
guilt and shame?
concerned that
Why?
no one else has any?
Why do they feel
That's
that there?
because because it's way easier. Like if someone dropped a nuclear bomb on Davos, you would kill like 60% of the world's millionaires and billionaires. Like it's
Yeah.
literally, they're all there. So when you're walking around in Davos and you're going like
It's like
to
looking
the,
in a mirror. You
the
mean?
chalet, like it's not even at the conference. Like the events around Davos are like there are more people there than are at these conferences. So you go there and you're looking around, and everyone there, it's like, oh, hey, there's a billionaire. Oh, look, another billionaire. Oh,
like they're
oh.
looking at themselves in the mirror and being like, God, I really am an asshole. Like this
No,
really is
I don't
bad.
think it's I don't think it's introspection. I think it's like when they see all the billionaires and they're like,
whoops.
all of us are here. Like
Yeah.
that's all of us.
And we
right?
all
Like,
kind of smell alike.
like, should we be concerned that this is all of us?
Ugh.
Because
All right, let's move
no
on.
one else has anything?
So you're not buying my 2 big stories of the week. Although I follow these headlines almost. It's almost an addiction. It's unhealthy the amount of headlines I follow and stories I look at. So there is a trend. That's all I'm going to say. Whether it lasts, I have no idea. The third story of the week. The next 2 stories are kind of in the nerdy ESG part of our world. I'm calling this third story of the week. So the board actually matters? ? Lululemon founder Chip Wilson blames board for total operational failure in some launch of some pants that are see-through. This is not the first time that Lululemon has sold see-through pants by mistake. But again, I'm just pointing this one out because once again, there's a story where the board might matter. The board's being blamed for something, right? It's only in an activist campaign.
I
But
love
still,
this story,
still.
and we're going to come back to
We're gonna get to
again.
Let's get to this.
Yeah.
And finally, the fourth story of the week, and again, this is the super nerdy, boring story. I wanted to give an early 2026 season, proxy season peek. So here's some early indicators. We talked with Mike and Ann on their show, Shareholder
Yeah,
Primacy,
doing the
about
predictions. Yeah.
what might be coming. I suggested I think you all laughed at me because I am, in that group, I'm clearly the mouth, the knuckle dragger. I'm clearly
You're the
knuckle dragger.
1B to my 1A of stupidity.
But I suggested that you all thought like shareholder proposals are dead. I suggested let's wait because it's really what they're going to let through that is going to be most telling, right? But there are some trickling through. Apple. Although, they're diminishing. There's one at Apple. I should have looked up how many there were last year because there's
20.
a lot. Okay,
17, I think.
somehow this is the one that got through. I don't understand. One of the I'm calling them the anti-woke 3. This is the far right, like women hate they hate brown people, they hate women, they hate trans people. That's the National Center for Public Policy Research, the National Legal and Policy Center, and the Boyer Research. That's like the far right 3. It's not a great nickname, but I don't know what else to call them. They're like they're the DEI haters. They have a China entanglement audit at Apple. So we're still on China. We're still doing China. Yeah, we're still doing China. As their far right, their beloved leader is taking over, like trying to take over Greenland and Venezuela. He's messing with NATO, and you're worried about China, which is starting 0 wars anywhere. I still don't know where China's starting wars, but
they circled.
They circle an island.
Taiwan. Yeah,
they circle an island right off their coast. So great. I care. Disney. 4 shareholder proposals at Disney. 3 of them from the far right 3. Something about looking at climate commitments, of course, because they hate climate commitments. Something about the gift matching program discriminating against Christians.
they hate charitable donations, not to churches.
Yeah, because clearly Christianity is not a real thing anymore, right? Like Christians
Yeah,
have
it's
lost.
gone. No,
Yeah, it's gone.
no
It's gone.
Christians in America.
And the third one is downright like it's like John Chevedden territory, Jim McRitchie territory. They're asking for cumulative voting for board elections. I don't know how that one slipped through. And then finally, there's a fourth one from a shareholder asking about accessibility and disability inclusion practices. I don't know why Disney let those four through, but they did. And then I picked a company another big company that's not big famous company that people really talk about a lot. That's Qualcomm. They have two. John Chevedden, he slipped through their shareholder ability to call for a special shareholder meeting. And then again, the far right three, Boyer Research, risk of China exposure. So China, that's what we're back to China, I guess, right? This is going to be the year of China? Like,
no.
Why? Why China?
So they're copy pasted. That's why. It's not.
But why are they letting those through? Why are we letting China through?
So this is the story of the week. I'm just going to front run so the stories you gave me, which are uniformly horrible.
You hate all my stories, but
our CEOs are actually
saying a thing,
sneaking in to say something.
Trump dissent, yeah.
There might be the edge of stakeholders winning something.
As society, bubbles in a horrible, hateful cauldron, maybe the CEOs are going to save us.
The board might actually matter for something at Lululemon, and then 2026 proxy indicators. Now, this is the nerdy one, the 2026.
You're picking this one, story of the week.
That is the story of the week.
I thought you were going to laugh at me at that one.
It's not the way you intend it.
Okay.
The things that are getting through.
Yeah.
Everywhere, including Costco, which was the first company to not use SEC's new exclusion rules.
Yeah, but we can't use Costco as a bellwether for anything because they're downright like crazy.
So Disney let through 4 proposals, but they got 5. They got 6, and two of them that they excluded. I mean, they were. I mean, one was patently ridiculous and was obviously
according to you
anyway, right?
According to you.
It was the guy running for lieutenant governor in Florida who said whenever a shareholder asks something of you, you must respond within 30 days. That was his shareholder proposal.
Let the people vote.
I suppose. And the other one was I think just badly formed. I think it was literally written on.
It was like how fast can you solve a Rubik's cube
with a crayon? It was like a Sudoku puzzle. But here's what I'm noticing: the proponents, the ones that are going to vote, are vast majority the anti-woke. The companies are so petrified of the anti-woke and the Trump administration and the SEC processes against shareholder vote. They're letting the shareholder vote go to Boyer, National Center for Public Policy Research, and National Legal Policy Center.
So it's 70. So of the three companies that I randomly selected, to your point, 71% are going to the far right three.
Apple had 16, 17 shareholder proposals last year. This year they have 1, and it's only an anti-woke one.
China.
Costco had a half dozen, and they had 1 this year. It's anti-woke. Disney had a dozen last year, and now it's 4, and 3 of the 4 are anti-woke.
Yeah.
The things that they're letting through. Now, this is
afraid.
for one of 2 reasons. Either the companies are letting those through, or the woke proposals are never even being handed to them anymore.
That could be true.
My sense is the woke, the sort of like
it could be engaging offline.
Sustainability. I don't think it's engagement. I think they're processing differently. I think they're basically saying the days where we ask for something and get 2% shareholder support are over. It's not worth asking for it anymore.
Yeah, let's
we
vote
need
the
to
directors
pivot.
out.
Vote directors out. Do something else, right? Which would be
listen.
good. But I don't. We also know the SEC is disproportionately shelving John Chevedden's proposals, right? They're taking their time to write no to him.
So give me some credit here. Give me some future credit, maybe. If I'm onto something, if CEOs and companies are starting to have the guts to actually speak out against Trump, then maybe we'll see these early proxy season indicators change. Maybe they won't feel like that they have to put out every far right, proposal. Maybe they'll start to say no to Boyer Research and right? Because to your point, you're saying they're worried about something. Maybe they'll stop being worried come April. I don't know. Maybe we'll start to see these excluded. I don't know. That's it. That's enough of that. Let's move on.
Yeah, let's move on.
That was a weird one. That's a weird story of the week.
That was a weird. Yeah, it's weird for you.
Well, I don't know. What do you want me to do? Like, you want me to talk about the Elon Musk Ryanair CEO fight? I don't want to talk about that.
We're going to talk about that anyway, won't we?
Oh, okay.
What do you have for Goodliest? Goodliest of the week. Make me feel good about something.
Okay, here's the. I feel good about this, and this is the perfect blueprint to get it done. So thanks for telling us, White House AI czar David Sachs. America could lose the AI race because of too much pessimism. White House AI czar David Sachs says, great, thank you. First of all, I hope we do, because the American version of AI is dominated by like a very small handful of like college dropout dudes who suck. And so maybe, and thank you for releasing the blueprint. So we just need to stay pessimistic, and maybe that's how we battle the CEOs. That's how we do it. We just stay negative, because great, because then this show will win everything, because we're super pessimistic and negative. You're not buying this. All right, move on. What do you have for Goodliest? You're too skeptical, and you just become a skeptical person.
Look, I'm spending a lot of time dealing with AI, and I'm spending a lot of time in the news, and I hate it all. I have two, though. This is the first one. Here's the headline. Elon Musk says they will eventually apply the wealth tax to everyone, just like how income tax started as a temporary tax for the top 1%.
What does that mean to everyone? You mean to all? Everyone meaning rich people?
So there's a lot of, like, they're talking about the billionaire tax in California, and it's a wealth tax. It's not an income tax. They're effectively saying, like, we will tax 1% of your total wealth, right?
Almost like a version of an inheritance tax or something?
Sort of. They take into account like all your assets, and they basically say what they're trying to do is remove the incentive to wealth hoard, right? Like these people are hoarding billions and billions of dollars themselves in properties all over the place, and they shelter it and all over the place. And now they're just saying, like, look, I don't care that you haven't sold your shares and so you can borrow against them. Your worth on paper is $1 billion. We are going to tax you 1% of that worth.
Let me explain it to you in terms that you can understand. This is the populist math version of the story. You're on like maybe like a vacation, like maybe you go to like a little rustic cabin. There's nothing to do. There's no internet. You're with your kids. You want to play a game. All they have is Monopoly, right? But one person is just like dominating. It's completely boring. So you start to like kind of give some of the money back to the other players so the game can keep going, right? It's like, okay, we don't have any other games, so we're not going to let one. What's the fun of having one person with all the hotels and all the money?
No, like, what I like about
here's some money. Let's keep playing. Let's stay alive for a while. Let's play the game. Come on.
Musk wrote this as a threat, like as in to say,
Good.
like,
another
hey,
perfect blueprint.
They're coming for me now.
Yeah,
like
good.
The Jews in Germany, right? Like they're coming for me now. Sure. They're gonna come for you next, right? Like that was what he intended as a threat.
Let's hope.
Except it's fucking brilliant, because if you wealth taxed me right now, you get 12 cents, right? Like what do I care? It only matters to them, but he meant it as a threat. I think it's fabulous. Like, great, you just pointed out the problem. If you did a wealth tax for everyone at 1% of total wealth, guess how much most people would pay? $100 a year, $1,000 maybe as a tax.
The sick thing is that most of us who aren't CEOs and Elon Musk types are like more than happy to share that. We believe in
off at the school.
Yeah, we believe in taxes, especially if they help our community and stuff. So we're not like anyway.
It's nuts. Oh, I love that. And here's the other one I loved. This was the headline: AOC and Paris Hilton team up on a bill targeting AI deepfake porn.
Okay,
I just love that team.
Yeah. Well, let's not forget that back in the day, when women really did not that they have much of an easy go now, but I will say that after the Me Too movement, there's been a little bit of more power in this area. But Paris Hilton was involved with one of the first sex tape scandals, and correct me if I'm wrong. I think that it was a man who released a tape of her And I don't think that she
Yeah.
had much power in that situation, and
No,
nobody
I think
cared.
she made money on it.
Okay, but are you sure about that?
I
We're
I
not
think she had to
sure.
sue for it. I think she had to sue for it. But yeah, I think it was like
But it
released
was
illegally and then she made money.
but it was 20. I think it was over 20 years ago. But even then, like those issues didn't matter. Like nobody cared about the
Well,
women's
there was no
perspective
like
on this.
YouTube at the time or like,
Right.
like it was, yeah, it was a long time
So
ago.
I'm glad they're working to legislate stuff like this. And yeah, I don't know. I guess that's good. I
I
don't know if
love
that. I
that.
mean, I feel sad about that one, but whatever.
Look, I like when strange
Deep fake
bedfellows and
porn. Ugh.
AOC and Paris Hilton get
Yeah.
together with a common cause that is, a
AOC
justified cause. I like that.
AOC, and I know you probably want to, but let's work on Section 230 because
Yeah,
because
yeah.
any company that gets music, any company that is involved with AI deep fake porn, I mean, you shouldn't be a company. You should lose your license. I mean, if the bagel
that's all
place
of 'em.
around the corner was like selling like tainted salami and rat meat, after a while they wouldn't be a business. So let's take care of Section 230.
I'm loving all of it. All right, asshole ace of the week.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
There are three options. The first option, you actually mentioned just about everything I have in here. So it's not like rehashing,
mean
but there's
to.
a little bit of depth. Oh, they're the dominant stories this week for sure, in my mind. But your first option is the governance asshole, and it's Chip Wilson. Chip Wilson, Dennis J. Wilson, is
Lululemon founder,
Lululemon founder. Not on the board,
former CEO.
former CEO. He left in 2015, and he is now waging a proxy battle with Lululemon. Here was the headline.
He's the man. Yeah.
Here, and Damien, you mentioned it already. Lululemon's founder is blasting the company for selling sheer leggings, calling it a new low.
Yeah.
Lululemon founder Chip Wilson blames board for total operational failure in Get Low launch, which the Get Low launch is the sheer leggings. Here is something from the same article, and this is an article by Business Insider. In 2013, Lululemon recalled 17% of all its pants for being too sheer. At that point, the company blamed the manufacturing error on an incomplete testing protocol. At the time, in 2013, when what Chip Wilson is now calling sheer leggings a new low, at the time, Wilson owned 29.22% of the stock. At the time, here are the board members that were on, it's a classified board that Chip Wilson handpicked. When they went IPO'd in 2007, he handpicked the board until he left in 2015 because he had enough shares to do it. He was the founder, and it was a classified board. It was impossible to get rid of these people. The board he's blasting today has members that he picked, including Martha Marfitt, David Musafer, Michael Casey, and Emily White. All directors handpicked by Chip Wilson. That's 40% of the current board is Chip Wilson's board. I don't understand what we're talking about, Chippy.
Well, let me add something about that. The see-through pants thing, it actually started in 2013 when he was still on the board.
That's what I'm saying. 2013, he was on the board. He owned 29% of the stock. He was
the chair.
He was the chair.
And they had and when there were complaints about see-through pants, he said, frankly, some women's bodies just actually don't work for wearing Lululemon pants due to thigh rubbing causing customer backlash. So he basically blamed
women,
overweight women, and women
and their legs.
Yeah. He also
the
yeah.
funny part is
yeah. Go ahead.
The ones they released now are sheer on purpose. They didn't hide the fact that they're sheer. They're part of the thing. It's supposed to be sexy Lululemon pants or something.
Sure. First of all, Chip Wilson has been a controversial figure forever. He also said in a book that he wasn't entirely opposed to child labor. I'm serious. That some children are not school material and they should be put to work. But I want to go over Can I go over a brief timeline of Chip Wilson?
I love a timeline.
So he's the CEO and founder until 2005. He sold 50% of the company to private equity firms, and then the company IPO'd 2 years later. So he wasn't even involved with the IPO of the company. So he stayed on as a executive until 2012. When he left, the stock price was $63. He remained chair until 2014, at which point the stock price was $43. And then he was a director for a few more months. Stock price bounced back up to $65. When CEO Calvin McDonald resigned in December, the stock price was at $187. The current share price is $193. And yes, it's down from highs over the last few years, especially during COVID. But when Chip was involved, the share price sucked. And to your point, he put most of the board members on the board.
Fucking board.
So I don't really know why we're listening to Chip in the first place. Why we're listening to Chip at all? I don't know why.
The best part is last week on our Proxy Countdown show, you pointed out that this headline, Lululemon founder Chip Wilson launches proxy fight for board shakeup. Quote, Wilson has nominated 3 independent director candidates to be elected at the 2026 annual meeting and submitted a proposal to declassify the board so that all members must stand for election annually. The founder and man who classified the board now realizes that classified boards suck for shareholders.
He was the chair of that classified
board
for 7 years.
And now he doesn't like the classified. Can you think of a bigger blowhard position than literally coming out with no considering like your role in any of this? Blasts the board's inexperience as part of the reason why they would release sheer leggings when you did the exact same thing when you were on the board with 4 of the exact same members of the board. What on earth are you talking about, you shithead? Like, it's just such an asshole move because you give the guy a microphone and a whole bunch of money, and he still owns a lot of the stock through various foundations. In fact, it was probably nearly a dozen different orgs that had to file for the 13D paperwork. I read in the holdings report, it was like, there's like 11 different companies. It's like his sister, his cousin, his wife, 2 of his foundations. It's nuts. And that guy, you hand him a microphone, and he feels entitled to spout off about this board and them failing when he was a failure and did all the same fucking stuff.
In 2024, in a Forbes interview of all places, he criticized Lululemon's diversity efforts, stating that brands shouldn't be everything to everybody. And then he called plus-size models and ads unhealthy and sickly. This is your guy. This is your
our
dude.
guy. This is our guy.
So if you're shopping at Lululemon, just know that he is one of your major shareholders and trying to get control of the board back. Okay, that's your first a-hole.
ISS, are you listening? Are you listening to this when you come up with your recommendation? All right.
Well, but they can't. But that's too. They can't. They're not allowed to. They're not allowed to actually study the. Although no, actually, you're right. Well, it's an activist campaign, so that's when ISS actually.
That's when they have.
That's when they're allowed to have an opinion.
That's when they're allowed to have an opinion. This is the one that they're going to have an opinion on.
All right, what else?
All right, my second asshole are capitalist assholes. It's everyone at Davos right now. This is easy. This is an annual asshole, I feel like. Once a year,
not the people of color like cleaning the hotels, though. Not that.
No. But here, I picked some choice Davos quotes that you already mentioned, but I want to juxtapose them. BlackRock CEO says capitalism isn't spreading the wealth, and AI might not either. This is Larry Fink, who is basically saying the barbarians at the gate because, he compared the AI revolution to the Industrial Revolution. He said effectively that it consolidated wealth in the hands of a few, and capitalism did that really, really well. And now AI is going to do that for white-collar jobs, not just blue-collar jobs. But here's a headline from October of 2025. BlackRock's $40 billion deal highlights the unstoppable AI data center gold rush as CEO Larry Fink pushes back on AI bubble fears. So Larry Fink's at Davos talking about how AI is going to ruin, people and could cause mass societal collapse while funding AI and mass societal
collapse.
He
didn't say he didn't want to keep getting rich off of it. He's just warning us.
He literally is saying we have too much wealth in this room. It's consolidated right here, and we're going to blow it up even worse with AI. We should be concerned about that while making more money off of that. It's fucking psychotic.
Yeah.
Or,
well, hey, he named his company BlackRock, so,
Jamie Dimon tells Davos, you didn't do a particularly good job making the world a better place.
Too bad he wasn't involved with world building. He's not involved with it. It's not like he runs one of the most powerful banks in the world.
This is as he literally the story. There was a story 2 weeks ago in the New York Times how Wall Street turned its back on climate change.
Right.
He looked around the room and you didn't do a particularly good job making the world a better
who was
place?
he speaking to? He was speaking to the similar CEOs in the audience. Is that who he meant by
I don't know, but all I know is he said you. He didn't say
how do you
me.
Know?
He didn't say me. He just got a $43 million payday, rolled back every climate rule, has gone totally into crypto and AI, and he's looking around going, you guys didn't do a good job making the world better.
Meanwhile,
you kneeled in front of a fucking office.
Scolding his workers from working from home when he let them work from home. But to be clear, what we don't know here is that quote he could have been in the bathroom of his 2-star hotel at Davos, looking in the mirror, right? He could have been shaving. He might have been saying to himself that you didn't do a good job, right? So we don't know.
That's true. I believe most of these quotes come from bathroom stalls.
Keep going.
Billionaire Mark Benioff challenges the AI sector. What's more important to us, growth or our kids?
Well, it's clearly growth, so I can answer that for you, Mark.
Well, no, he's saying it because he also said that AI has become a suicide machine.
I know,
and
but
he's coming out strong against AI.
I get that, but I'm saying it's clearly growth is more important, Mark. We know this.
Well, let's check in November what you thought, Mark. Salesforce CEO Mark Benioff says he cut 4,000 support roles because of AI.
Yeah, but those were the childless workers. They don't have families. They don't have parents.
I was gonna say
they don't have.
He's
cousins.
not worried about their kids.
Yeah, no.
It's just other kids.
Yeah,
you might be worried about. And then there's just all the side conversation, like this one. Antimicrobial resistance pandemic will kill more people than cancer by 2050, and no one at Davos is talking about it. Leading scientists speak out at Frontier Science House.
Yeah,
it's stuff like that. Literally, we're talking. All they talked about was AI and how much wealth they have, and whether that's a good or bad thing. And someone outside is we're all dead anyway because of climate change, because of antimicrobial resistance, because of all these other things that you're causing.
You see that RFK Jr. basically is telling us to eat more beef. He's adding red meat.
Yes.
Okay. I mean, that's a good way to kill Americans. Sorry, what else do you have?
All right. So that's number 2. Number 3. And this is now a recurring one. The anti-education uber wealthy tech bros.
Oh, this is the worst.
There were just 2 headlines that I saw, and I know
there were more, but you picked the best ones. Yeah.
NVIDIA's Jensen Huang says it's a good time to be a plumber, and not just because it's an AI-proof job.
I wish, Jensen, that you would quit.
Go be a plumber.
The company and go be a plumber.
Face.
You don't need more wealth. We don't need more chips.
Is there literally a shittier thing to say, when you are literally a multi-billionaire?
Yeah, go be a plumber. I bet he'd be a great plumber. I bet he'd be so good at it.
Plumber.
He's already got a leather jacket, so if he falls in the basement, he won't skin his arms.
Yeah, it's really rough. It's hard to get through that jacket. And then Palantir CEO Alex Karp just says everything all the time. It says AI will destroy humanity's jobs, but there will be more than enough jobs for people with vocational training.
Can I say that this might be...
That's a guy who got a law degree, didn't he?
This might be the one of the most important headlines of the early year because what it reveals. So what it reveals to me, first of all, is the reason why AI is going to destroy humanity's jobs is because it's being run by boys like Alex Karp, right? Because the other part of this is that who gets humanities degrees? 2/3 are women. So he's basically in one thought here, he is eliminating creativity. Humanities degrees often come with a vast ability for like analytical, critical ability, right? Creativity, and then he's also wiping out skill sets held by women. So it really is an important quote here, Alex Karp.
Forget held by women. Alex Karp, who's telling you that AI is going to wipe out humanities and basically you should get a job as a plumber or a carpenter, got a bachelor's degree in philosophy and he got a law degree.
Yeah.
Are there any more humanities a degree than philosophy at Haverford College?
But we've already established his hypocrisy because he hates elite. He hates elitists too, and his entire board is either Stanford or Duke graduates. So
it's the worst. Yeah. So those are your options. It is Chip Wilson.
At least he's honest, right?
Davos and Tech Bros. I mean, is he? I hate them all.
I don't know where to go with this one. Chip Wilson just seems like a jerk. I don't know if he's like a full. I mean, he is an asshole, but
he's an asshole. They're all fucking assholes.
But he's just like I mean, and excuse me if you're an activist investor and write to me and prove me that I'm wrong. But the tone of most activist investors are like this. They just like they come out of nowhere. They suddenly make all these grand proclamations about why governance is important, but then they disappear, and I don't know. So this just sounds like more activist investor nonsense. And Chip Wilson is a known asshole, so I don't know if this is new. Although the Davos thing is not new either. Every year they sound like
neither's the like this
none of this is
anti-education. None of it's really new.
So I guess I
feel like we're nearing a nadir of bullshit.
Assholery. So yeah, then I gotta Then I'll go back to say that because it is timely and of the week, I'll go with Chip Wilson. There's my asshole of the week.
Oh, there it is. All right, let's move on. I hate everything right now.
Don't say that.
Well, we have headline news and we have winners and predictions. What was your favorite headline of the week?
Ryanair launches great idiot seat sale, especially for Elon, as feud escalates. I'll just leave it at that.
That's right. There was the background of that is Elon Musk called Ryanair CEO Michael O'Leary a great idiot. Like, didn't he call him like an idiot?
Okay, here's where the argument comes. If you really want to get into it, the argument originated because Ryanair CEO Michael O'Leary did not want to add Starlink to all of his planes because his argument, especially, was on short-haul flights. It creates a certain amount of drag, these antennas, and it's just not worth it. And that cost will be passed on to the customers. First of all, I mean, you need Wi-Fi for a 20-minute flight. I don't know why we need that, and we shouldn't have short-haul flights anyway.
Look out the window, yeah.
But the point is that Elon wrote back saying, like, because this is how Elon operates. He immediately just went into hellfire. You're an idiot mode because he didn't buy Michael O'Leary's assessment of using Starlink, and then he started off by saying, like, you're an accountant, so you don't know anything about airplanes, and because I guess the CEO of an airline can't ask people about the effect of anyway. This is how it escalated. It came from Elon. It had nothing to do with the Ryanair CEO. It was Elon who spouted off.
But Elon managed to sell some flight tickets, apparently, is what Michael O'Leary's saying.
Yeah, I guess the Ryanair stock price has gone up. He sold a bunch of tickets off of this, and it's ended up with statements like launching the great idiot seat sale, especially for Elon. That's where we've gotten to.
That's where we are. Every company dunks on one another. There's no conversation. There's no nothing. I have two actually headlines.
Okay, go ahead.
First one you already said, so I'm just reiterating, but Nestle chief blames Trump for company going quiet on sustainability. I pulled that because it doesn't he run the company? I mean, I don't want to say it out loud, but like you said, it's Trump's fault that your company is not talking about sustainability.
Well,
you are a international company based in Europe, and you run it.
I want to be fair here. His name is Philip Navratil. He did take over in September of 2025. It is possible that he inherited Nestle's weakness when it came to fighting climate. So maybe he's taking it in a different direction. He's not responsible for the prior decisions for the company going quiet and sustainability. So maybe he's going to turn back around.
I'm
just saying,
right?
Okay, well, he's starting to talk, so I'm going to give him a chance here. Maybe he's going to.
All right. Here's the other one, though. How anti-doom scrolling influencers are combating social media addiction.
Wait, let me unravel that one. Anti-doom scroll. Wait, influencers where? Like on the town square in a milk crate? Where are they?
These
where
are
are they
social
influencing?
media influencers who are focused on anti-doom scrolling.
So they're influencing on social media about social media.
So because every alcoholic usually uses alcohol to get over their alcohol addiction. Like it is.
Well, look, this is probably
the world we live in.
This is one of the things I wrestle with kind of the most when I go to bed at night is when because I feel like when I have these moments of clarity, knowing like, oh, I'm probably half responsible for our company not getting out there more and being more successful, reaching bigger audience, because I refuse to use social media because I don't want to be a hypocrite here, right? I know it's a good vehicle to get reach, to get attention, but I also know it's ruining humanity. So I kind of refuse to use it. So it's a conundrum for those of us who give a shit. But I love their version of it, which is it's ruining humanity, but we're still gonna use it to ruin. Like we're still gonna
we're gonna make you addicted to not
being addicted,
doom scrolling.
So I wish I could.
Addicted?
I wish I could learn to not care too. Is what I'm trying to say, and just go for it.
All right, who's your winners for the week?
My winner's boring. Anti-China right-wing blowhards. I just love that we're back into China again. Like I just love that right-wing people are just like they find a version of a non-white person, and they love whether it's brown people they want to kick out of the country because God knows that and ICE is unfortunately in my city, in my state right now. But God knows they don't target white immigrants. And there's a lot of white immigrants in Maine, believe me, because a lot of them actually came illegally over the northern border from Quebec. But we don't care about them. I just love these Boyer Research, all the national legal whatever centers. I just love how they're constantly scapegoating with race. I think it's cute. Like, let's be worried about China. Because why would Apple, Tim Cook, why would they want to sell an iPhone to Chinese people? That's anti-American, right, Matt?
First of all, that's not fair. They also don't
right?
like gays.
It's anti-American, right, to sell an iPhone to a Chinese citizen, right? Agree with me.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. There's nothing
far
less
right.
American than
You're
that.
sad. You're sad people. I don't know why you have such hate in your heart, but it's sad. It's a sadness.
My winner is a winner that comes up every single year, which is
Go
private jets.
No.
Business Insider tracked 157 private jets at least that
Not
arrived
Davos.
at Davos.
It is. I thought they went commercial.
No. And they had the tags for Benioff, Eric Schmidt, who was a former Google CEO, and then there were company jets from BlackRock. So Fink, good for you. Like just like the little people taking their private jet from place to place, and then talking about the little people, you managed to do that. Aramco, Blackstone, Citi. HP, Google, JP Morgan. That's the Jamie Dimon jet. Lockheed Martin. They all arrive by private jet. Private jets having a moment every year at Davos.
You make a unintended good point here, which is that if you actually are worried about humanity, and now is the moment maybe where you're trying to like figure out how to bridge the gap between income inequality destroying the world. Why don't you sit with some real people once in your life? Why don't take a bus, take the subway, take a plane? Why don't you have a conversation with someone who is not a BlackRock sycophant who you've hired for middle management, or like have a conversation?
Can you imagine them on a train
You can do
ride?
it.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, like
in the cafe car of a train.
You can do it. Imagine being stuck with Larry Fink in a middle seat. How would you feel about that?
Do you think he'd upgrade for the aisle, or
I don't know. I don't know how tall he is. Maybe he needs extra leg room. Yeah, go ahead.
Predictions. You got a prediction?
I'll go first because I have a short one. Target. Because don't forget, Brian Cornell has a week left of being CEO, right? But of course, he's going to be executive chair. Unlike Doug McMillon at Walmart, he's sticking around because, whereas I could probably give Doug McMillon a lot of credit because Walmart has, compared to Target, has done well in a lot of areas. Brian Cornell just seems like a big failure, and yet he's staying as executive chair.
Yeah, so got to keep that guy around.
Keep that guy going. I love, and too, like they just got a director from Hanes brand and Nike. I mean, that's a genius, right? I mean, that's pretty genius, right? Hanes brand. I mean,
yeah, because they buy a lot. That's Target's where you get underwear.
I mean, just what a genius, innovative thought. So congratulations. But Target soft launches brown. Stay with me here. Brown colored oranges.
Okay.
They start selling brown colored oranges to see if America is ready to care about race again. So if the brown oranges sell, maybe they can have a statement about what's going on in Minneapolis.
Oh, I see.
Or about a Trump administration that is violently and recklessly targeting people of color to deport them, taking over Venezuela. But let's see if the brown-colored oranges move. Let's see if we can sell some of those
that's
babies.
The only way capitalism can really deal with race.
Right? Because that's how they'll know. That's how they'll know.
All right, my prediction, and you got to stick with me. It's going to take me a second.
I'm here.
You read this headline: Jamie Dimon is done being binary on Trump's economic disaster, credit grant plan, foreign policy, yada yada yada. I am predicting that Jamie Dimon officially declares himself as non-binary.
Oh.
Requests that the media address him as a they whenever quoting him.
Okay, not even they, he, but they, like them, they, just
them,
pure
they.
He's
non-binary, straight up. They then contact Fortune after reading this headline about their self. Jamie Dimon says he'd have no issue paying higher taxes if it actually went to people who need it. Right now, it just goes to the Washington swamp. That's what the headline says.
Yeah.
And Dimon demands to edit it to Jamie Dimon says they'd have generally some, but not none issue paying higher or lower taxes if it actually went to poor or rich people. But now it goes to Washington swamp or Everglades or desert. Either way, it's delightful, but also could be terrible.
Wow, that's a mouthful, what you just said. I think that the takeaway is that you think that Jamie Dimon is going to declare themselves as non-binary.
That's the takeaway.
That's the great takeaway. That's a great prediction. Let's see. That would be wouldn't that be amazing?
That would change everything
so much. I would really love that.
That's Hazelnut Rawless, Damien to his mother. I'm your analyst, Matt Moscardi. We are free float. It's our Friday show. Come back next week. We'll have a proxy countdown next week. We'll have a Tuesday show next week. There's a show with Primacy next week. So much content that comes out of this. Stay tuned for that. Until then, good